wonder what it's like to live outside of the US. It's a common misconception that the US has the best quality of life, but I have found that that's not always the case. Around the world, in other countries, people spend less on everyday expenses, on housing, healthcare, etc., causing them to have a better quality of life outside of the US. So I wanted to talk about 4 things that I feel like are major benefits as to why living out of the US would be better. So the first point that I wanted to discuss was the lower cost of living. So in many countries, things like transportation, groceries, things like that, healthcare, housing, they're significantly cheaper than they are in the US. So for example, places like Portugal, Thailand, and Mexico, people who are often retired tend to go to countries like that to live, or people who also have like work from home jobs, they usually tend to go to countries like that because they find that they have a better quality of life because of the expenses of life being a lot cheaper in countries like that. So according to Numbio's cost of living index, countries have living costs that are substantially lower than those in the US. So when you're spending less on necessities, you're gonna have a better overall quality of life. So my next point that I want to talk about was work-life balance. I think this is another benefit that's really important because I feel like in other countries they really place a strong emphasis on personal time, whereas I feel like in the US we are more so conditioned to work all the time, 24/7. Like that's the norm for us. And I feel like in other places, the employees, they often get several weeks of PTO. When it comes to like maternity leave, the parents get more than enough maternity leave that they leave. And it's even been proven that they have shorter work weeks outside of the US. I feel like this is really important because I feel like when you are not constantly having to work and be in survival mode, you will again have a better quality of life because you're not stressed out and always working. So according to the OECD, that stands for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, they stated that workers in many developed countries spend fewer hours at work each year than workers in the US. And again, I feel like more free time just allows people to enjoy life more. So that's why I feel like that's an important point. My third point that I want to touch on was affordable healthcare. This is another big important one. Healthcare costs in the US can be extremely expensive, even if you have insurance. If you are insured, still would end up having a pretty big bill that would leave a lot of people in not a pretty good situation. So in other countries, universal healthcare is provided and lower cost medical services are also provided. And I feel like this reduces financial stress on citizens, which again goes back to quality of life. But I'm not at all saying that the healthcare systems out of the country are perfect at all, but I do feel like when you get more of a peace of mind when you know that you can go get what you need to get done and get the healthcare services that you need, and you won't have to spend an arm and a leg for it. Lastly, I wanted to point out cultural experiences and personal growth when you move out of the US. So when you move out of the US, I just feel like it really exposes people to different type of world, different languages, a different way of living, completely different everything. And I feel like things like this give people a new outlook on life. Many people have said who live abroad, they say that it has helped them to become more independent and more confident because they're completely, navigating a brand new life outside of the country. So in conclusion, I think that living outside of the US offers many potential benefits, and I feel like a few of them, like I just said, would be the cost of living, affordable health care, your quality of life, etc. So, but I think that knowing these things would show people in the U.S. that you can still have a successful and a happy life if you live outside of the U.S.